hours alone. Keeping in mind the several developments are coming in. Remember, a lot of political blame game is also being witnessed. Another reaction coming in from National Conference President Farooq Abdullah, who says we still have problems with our neighbour. These problems will not be solved by military action. Unless we talk to our neighbours, we cannot solve these issues. So essentially batting for talks with Pakistan once again. He says whichever government is in charge in Jammu and Kashmir, this is the only challenge that continues to face us. We need to come out of these situations. Also speaking about the upcoming Amarnath Yatra, and says these incidents will not stop taking place unless we resolve them with talks. Listen in.
Absolutely right in your predictions on this.
You see, unfortunately, we still have problem with our neighbour. And the problem with neighbour will not be solved by military action. No military action has solved anything. Look at what is happening in between Ukraine and Russia. People thought in 2 weeks it will be over. It's the second year now that war continues and destruction continues. And look at the Gaza situation. These things don't solve the problems. Today, United Nations Security Council has taken up now that between Hamas and the Israelis, they will have to find a solution. And this is the way we find that in India also. Unless we talk to our neighbours, we will not be able to solve the problem that we have here. Because these terrorists are coming over the border. And they continue to come. Whichever government tomorrow is in here, we'll have to still face the same thing. And innocent people die. You see that a security person of the CRPF died in that attack in Kotwa, in Doda. Now look at these things. Look at them seriously. And we need to come out of these situations. How long will we face these tragedies? And we have a yatra coming now, which is a major yatra. Any small incident that might take place in that will be blown up in the rest of the country. And we Kashmiris are not responsible for these things.
Let me go across to Ishan Mani joining us with more details. Ishan, the stated policy of the Modi 2.0 and Modi 1.0 had been that talks and terror cannot go hand in hand. With Rajnath Singh continuing as the Raksha Mantri, we're not going to see too much of a difference in its approach with regards to terrorism. But what the BJP essentially has maintained, that there's a big problem when leaders such as Farooq Abdullah come out to say time and again that we must talk these things out. The establishment, the dispensation in India is of a firm opinion that it can't happen till the time Pakistan puts its act together.
Well, that has been the stand of the Modi government ever since it came to power. It has made it clear that until and unless there is no stopping of export of terror to Jammu and Kashmir, the talks cannot be held. And talks can only be held when there is peace, there is peaceful atmosphere, and when these infiltrations do not take place, when the intent from Pakistan is not wrong. That's only condition that India has when it comes to talks. But Farooq hasn't changed his stand. From very early on, he has been advocating for talks with Pakistan. Whenever incidents like these take place, Farooq is one man who just points out that there's a need for dialogue, there's a need for talk with Pakistan so that things can be resolved. But the fact is that the government of the day has made it clear multiple times, including the External Affairs Minister, the Prime Minister, the Home Minister and Defence Minister, that all the talks can be held when there is conducive atmosphere and Pakistan stops exporting terror. And that has been the primary stand. But yes, there are political parties who want the talks to continue while the people bleed, while things are not good, when the infiltration continues to take place, and when they are trying to harm the India's national interest. So that is where a line has been drawn by the government of the day, and that seems to be that will happen in the continuity. Modi 3.0 has now come into action, and expected is that they will follow the same line.
And Ishan, the problem with our neighbour Pakistan is not limited to just state-sponsored terrorism. It's also about violation of ceasefires, and the number also goes on to suggest the same, isn't it? And that's why the government continues to maintain that talks cannot go hand in hand as far as these terror activities are concerned.
There has been a reduction in ceasefire because ever since India and Pakistan agreed to hold ceasefire after a very long time, because there were people dying, shelling taking place, and then homes getting destroyed. There has been peace at the borders. That has helped in the government of the day to take progress in peace to these border locations. But the fact also is that the infiltration continues, the sending of drugs and narcotics from the other side continues, the attacks on security forces continue, the attacks on civilians continue, and that is the side where the government is focused on, that this entire ecosystem needs to stop, because while you are sending drugs through international border, through line of control in Kashmir and in Jammu, and that is where the problem lies, that the drugs becomes an internal part of the functioning of militancy and then harming the India's national interest. So all of this combined together, though there is peace at the border in terms of ceasefire, but yes, in the past we have seen at the international border a minor clash taking place between the BSF and the Pakistan Rangers. But apart from that, largely there hasn't been much ceasefire violation that has been taking place, because remember, experts believe that when Pakistan also agreed to hold ceasefire, the economic condition was not.
But that said, Ishan, cross-border terror activities from Pakistan have remained a significant factor behind the border violence between the two countries, isn't it? And that's where this message essentially comes in on part of the Modi government. But Farooq Abdullah, once again batting for talks, says nothing can be solved if talks don't take place between the two nations. Many thanks for joining us with all those details. Heading into a very quick break for now. Lots more lined up on the other side. We'll be right back.